What is your name and how old are you?
My name's Jason and I am 41.
What is your role in the sport?
I do a bit of everything. So I compete, I'm a GB lifter, I'm also a referee and I'm a coach of one of the biggest teams.
When did you start your coaching?
When did I start coaching? I want to say about 10 years ago, no, about 12, 13 years ago, maybe 15.
And why did you get into coaching?
That's an interesting question because my old business failed, which is a long story, and I came across a speech by a philosopher called Alan Watts called "What would you do if money were no object?" He essentially poses the question, what would you do if money didn't matter? And so do that. I gave it about 9 months thinking about it. I was sort of paralysed, unable to do anything else because I was trying to think, what would I do? And landed on, well, yeah, I want to be in the gym. And that, you don't, when you follow that sort of path, you don't know where it'll end. I didn't necessarily know I'd be a coach, but I knew I needed to be in the gym. So I've worked in gyms, been manager of gyms, and then coached, and then taught the coaching course, and it just sort of spread from there. And you just kind of follow the path.
And what has been your proudest moment, biggest achievement when competing?
For competing myself, bench British record. So the Masters 1 British record had held for, I'm not entirely sure anymore, 15, 20 years. My opening bench in Masters 1 was a new British record. I did do a world record later in the year, but I'm slightly less proud of that.
And why is that?
Because my world record deadlift is lower. So you can only break a world record at an international. So my world record deadlift is actually slightly lower than the British record deadlift. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to correct that in June and break both. But yeah, I was happier with the bench.
And what about when coaching? What should have been the
Biggest
biggest achievement?
achievement coaching? Records for other people. Or Louise making it to abs and doing incredibly well. Actually, yeah, very possibly last weekend. Squats going absolutely to shit, can I swear? Yeah, well, yeah, squats going terribly and then managing to swing that back around to 3 for 3 on bench and 3 for 3 on deadlift. I was pretty pleased with that.
What are the challenges when you're training yourself but coaching other people?
I mean, I think that depends on how you coach. We try to be very all-encompassing with coaching, put lifters first, focus on them, and if that's how you approach it, then your own lifting does tend to go second. So a pretty good example would be Worlds last year. We had 2 lads lifting in the morning and myself lifting in the afternoon. The night before, I should have been resting. I was going for another world record deadlift, so I should have been, say, resting my hands, but one of the lads needed a massage. I won't say no. So yep, fine, lie down, massage him. And so, yeah, putting them first always affects your lifting. I competed 4 times last year. Twice I went first and lifted well. Then twice I was after our lifters, and both of those were awful because you put all your energy into managing them first.
So what is your work-life balance like?
Non-existent. Literally do not have one. There is no balance. There is lifting and then there is lifting. And then very occasionally there's a little bit of sleeping. And that's it. And the kids come with us to competitions. In the evening when we get home, it's sat and doing more plans. Even when I'm sat in the garden having a cigarette at night, I'm watching back everyone's videos for the day. My phone has got some 9,000 videos of people squatting on it. And we'll go through them endlessly, break them down. So yeah, there is no balance of any kind. But I like it like that. I constructed my life to be this because I like it.
Has that affected, how is your partner, obviously, does she help you out at all?
Yeah, so she's one of the other coaches here and is exactly the same. Exists to train and to train other people, and that is it.
And what sacrifices have you made while coaching?
Oh, well, the main one, as I say, is putting the lifters ahead of myself. Equally, though, no holidays because we end up spending so much money on international competitions. That has to sort of be your holiday. When it comes to weekends, we've got people in today, people in tomorrow. There's no weekend, no days off. So taking the kids places is, fitted in between team training and sessions. Yeah, it's that lack of balance.
You mentioned having to save money to go internationally. How does that, you say it's a break, but how does that affect you? So you've got more holiday.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. It's been so long since I went on a holiday just to go on holiday. I'm not sure I even remember what that is. Honestly, I was probably 21. So we're talking 20 years ago since I probably went on holiday just to go on holiday. I suppose I took the kids to Wales a few times. But I don't think I miss it. I was never a real sort of holiday type guy anyway. I like doing what I'm doing.
How do you find the international tournaments? Are they quite different to?
Awesome. I love internationals. They're all relatively similar. Once you get used to something, it's just another gym with a few different faces. But of course, you see a lot of the same faces anyway, because we have to qualify for things. So you'll see people that qualify, then see them at Brits, then Euros, then Worlds. So there's friends everywhere. We're quite sort of insulated when we're abroad. So last weekend we were in Scotland. It's not like we were sightseeing, looking at castles or going shopping. It's we drive to a hotel, we drive to the gym, we lift, we drive back to a hotel. Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier you having to sacrifice your own training due to like coaching and helping others.
Yes.
How do you find it?
It's frustrating at times. Yeah, I mean, I can't lie. That part of things is frustrating. I mean, obviously opened the big strength lab primarily with a view to creating somewhere I can train. Then never once in the 2 years it was open successfully trained properly, not my own. And that's just little things like I'm warming up and out the corner of my eye someone else is struggling. Okay, I'll put the bar down, go and help them. Yeah, truth be told, that does get frustrating a little bit, but it's just how it is.
How did opening that gym sort of how did that gym life, did it affect you in any way?
Yes, I'm not sure it's quite irony, but somewhat ironically, opening the gym destroyed my own lifting. From the minute we opened the door, my own total went down and down and down. My own training got pushed more and more to the side. I could never focus. Even when there's no one in the building, I'll be training and you notice out the corner of your eye the bin's full and I'll stop what I'm doing, ring reception, say someone come and empty the bin. Then you don't get focused. And strangely, opening an 11,000 square foot super powerlifting gym tanked my own lifting, and it wasn't until we closed that I started getting back where I was.
And once you started to get back where you were, did you find your motivation
Oh,
start going up?
yeah. When things, I mean, this is the funny thing. Most lifters will tell you this. If you lift well, that's a good day. If you lift badly, your entire day is bad. If you have a couple of good days, that's a good week. There are ups and downs and good and bad to putting so much of what you are into the way you lift, but yeah, if you know that, you just make sure you lift well and you feel good.
Do you keep your coaching at coaching, or do your lifters come with you with issues that they may have?
Yeah, I mean, that comes back to how you coach, I think. Like I said, so some people are standoffish and coaching is coaching, that's all it is. You fill in someone's spreadsheet, tell them what to lift and sort of leave them to it. You're never going to get the best out of someone like that. You know, other things affect your ability to lift. If you don't sleep, if you've got stress at home. So from a coaching perspective, if you ignore those things, you're not doing your job as well as you could and you're not helping your lifters. So for us, yeah, we do everything. Everything. If someone's got any kind of problem, whether it's looking for a new job, we'll try and put them together with someone else that we know that can maybe help them. If it's stress at home, we'll talk to them about it. Yeah, we try to be there for everything. And of course, you get this endorphin release when you exercise. So even new people will be spilling their guts in the first sort of half an hour we meet them. You know, they start to get a bit of a buzz from training and they're telling you about problems at home, problems with their partner, and you listen, you try and help.
What challenges have you had to overcome to sort of where you are today?
Variety of things. Injuries, obviously, everyone gets injured. I mean, the thing is, when you're lifting, it's no change of direction, no impact, so you'd think it should be pretty safe, but say right now, my right rhomboid is screaming at me, making it difficult to sit up straight or breathe in, and it's usually not actually lifting. People will, you'll pull a massive deadlift, or in this case, benched slightly above the world record in my class, and then went to pick up a dumbbell, and my rhomboid went, nope, and that was a week ago, and now I can barely breathe. So, yeah. Injuries being the main one.
What about when you were younger?
Major injuries. Yeah, well, that was so the biggest injury I ever had that really affected things was before I was a powerlifter, actually. But yeah, broke my pelvis in 12 places by driving through the barrier on the M25, which wasn't super smart, and was told that I'm unlikely to ever be able to stand up again. And then, of course, since then, have stood up. Played basketball at uni, played American football, been a bodybuilder, turned into a powerlifter, broke a deadlift world record, so I think I'm all right standing up.
And how has that made you sort of...
Agnes. Hello, Agnes. That dog's called Agnes. Go say hello. It's Agnes, the dog. She likes it in here. Sorry, say that again. How's
How was that sort of challenge you've overcome? How was that made you sort of the coach you are today and sort of the person that
Yeah, well, we believe in resilience. There is nothing that can't be overcome. We use a quote from Captain America speaking to his team from, what was it, Age of Ultron. If you get hurt, hurt them back. If you get killed, walk it off. We fight. There's no injury you can't overcome. It's all about how you look at things. It's the approach, and that is very much the attitude we take. And we are proud of our team's ability to grind a rep out when it's hard, to fight. There's no injury that we give into. I broke this arm in a Taekwondo tournament, did 2 more rounds, beat the guy, did another event, drove my stepson home, drove to the hospital and got it put in a cast. Because, why stop?
you say it's made your team sort of that resilience? Has it brought them closer together as well?
Oh, I think so. You can look at other teams at competition, and of course, there are some others, and they're all there in their matching t-shirts, matching tracksuits, but they never strike me as being together, if that makes any sense. We are all, really very close. The team training sessions that we do at the weekend help that, I think. We spend a lot of time together. Powerlifters don't tend to have other friends, or not proper powerlifters. Whether or not I should say, we tend to call non-lifting folk muggles, and we don't spend time with muggles. So.
And what has been your biggest training regret?
Biggest training regret? Not keeping my foot on the gas after Worlds 2019. At Worlds 2019, I was at the strongest I'd ever been at that point. Squatted a personal best in comp. I'm pretty sure I benched a personal best in comp. More or less matched my personal best deadlift, and it was very close to my best total at the time. And when I came back, the gym had just opened, so there was lots to deal with at the gym. And I don't know, as I say, I just took my foot off the gas. I started to develop a slight injury in left SI joint. Didn't jump on fixing it. I let myself slip, and then it's taken until, so that was 2019. It took until last year to match the total that I did in 2019 because I just let myself slip. Had I kept my foot on the gas, I'd be a much stronger lifter now. I probably also should have let myself get heavier. Coming from a bodybuilding background, bodybuilding is not good for you. I mean, especially psychologically, you develop this idea that if you haven't got ab veins, you're fat. That makes it very difficult to let go of a certain physique, and that physique is not conducive to being strong. I should have let myself blow up to 110 kg, be squidgier, get very strong, and then cut back down to make weight. And I wouldn't do it. Mentally, I just couldn't let myself go. As soon as I can't see abs, I'm like, nope. And if I had, then again, I should probably be squatting 300, pulling 350, and benching near 200 if I'd have kept my foot on the gas then. But never mind, I'm old now and getting stronger again.
And just going back to an earlier question about your team sort of coming to you with problems, how do you deal with that mentally?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it. I think probably what I'd do is compartmentalise and sort of turn it off. When people are struggling, you look at it as a problem to solve, which maybe sounds a little bit heartless in that you're sort of taking the compassion away, and it's just a problem. My little sister's a surgeon, and I remember her saying that she can't view people as people when she's operating. They're a broken machine. If she can fix it, she will. If she can't, all right, next. If she's going to let herself get heartbroken over every person that she can't help, she will be absolutely stuck and never be able to move forward. We probably do a bit of that. When people present a problem, you view it quite matter-of-factly. Here's your solution. Go ahead and do it, but maybe don't get too emotionally involved with it. I hadn't really thought about it until you asked.
Have you ever had to take time out because of a sort of issue that someone's come to you?
Not really. No, not really. I mean, every so often there is something bigger to deal with, and we put some time into it, but you can juggle things around. I don't think I've really had to sort of take time away because of that.
And what was your biggest coaching regret?
Coaching regret? Okay, I was trying to think of...
So, what is your biggest coaching regret?
Yeah, so I was trying to think of something interesting, and it's a very small thing actually. Letting one particular lifter choose his third squat in his first comp. His first moved all right, his second moved all right, so I let him have some input in what his third attempt was going to be. He went higher than I wanted, missed it, and it created a sort of slippery slope, and the rest of that whole comp didn't go as it might, and we had to put him in another qualifier 4 weeks later. And in the qualifier 4 weeks later, we decided he doesn't even need to know what his attempts are. He keeps his headphones on until someone pats him on the bum and says, go lift that, and he did. And then when we did that, he went 9 for 9. So yeah, I never should have let him choose his third deadlift, his third squat.
Are there any more that spring to mind?
Letting Louise go below her weight cut at Worlds, yes. So she had to be under 60, was what, 62, 63 a week out. So water loaded, cut back on food, and then was into the 59s. But in pursuit of a higher dot score, kept going, and I shouldn't have allowed that because then didn't have a great performance on the day, or had a fairly shocking performance on the day for her. And yeah, I should have, the moment she was sub 60, I should have said, that is it, drink, eat, and just keep an eye on the scales, but I didn't. I let her keep going, and I blame myself somewhat for that.
Do you mention about you let a lifter choose their own way?
Mm-hmm.
You sort of learn from that?
Oh, hell yeah. Basically, we don't. Now, it's, yeah, we're much more of the sort of vein of keep your headphones on. When I pat you on the bum, walk to the bar and lift it, and then come back and put your headphones on. You don't need to look at the board. We never let our lifters speak to the table. They don't put their own attempts in, and quite often they don't need to know what they are. We know what they're capable of. If peak has gone a certain way, we can estimate very, very well what. We pride ourselves on our peak. I've spent 9+ years writing the way we peak, and it works. And if you have faith in it, you may have never lifted your third attempts before, but we know they're there, and if they're not, we won't put them in. So yeah, we are quite sort of picky about that now.
Would you say that powerlifting is quite a psychological game?
Yeah, I mean, to an extent. In terms of training, people put all of these things together. If you're not someone who trains, people think CrossFit, bodybuilding, powerlifting, they're all the same thing, and they're just not. I would tend to say that physically, bodybuilding is easy. You just do the things. You don't need as heavy weights. It's lots of reps. Psychologically, bodybuilding is tough. It's how you have to adapt the way you look at yourself, how critical you have to be whilst not developing body dysmorphia issues. Powerlifting, on the other hand, I actually tend to say should be psychologically pretty easy, but physically much tougher. That said, when you start tying an awful lot of your self-worth to your own performance, or you want certain numbers and they don't come, people get very depressed. There's quite a lot of our job of just reminding people that it can't always be linear progress. You'll have bad days. When you do one rep max test, it won't necessarily be heavier next time. There are a lot of external factors that affect it. And you have to guide people's mind back to the fact of, progress is progress. It's not just that you're squatting more now. Maybe you're squatting more reps at a lighter weight. Maybe they look better. Maybe they're easier. Maybe you can do it under greater fatigue now. The only sign of progress isn't just that you're lifting more.
And just a sort of last question. What is one thing you would say, advice you would give to an up-and-coming coach that you've learned from your mistakes?
It takes a lot longer than people think to become a coach. The fitness industry is odd. There are no qualifications available that will really prepare you for this. We've dealt with people who do the level 2 PT course, people who do the level 3 and 4 PT course. You will not learn anything in reality about coaching. We've had people who've done degrees in exercise science, master's degrees in exercise science. The last 2 staff we had that did a master's degree in exercise science, we couldn't let them squat on the gym floor because their squat was so awful we couldn't have our members looking at it and thinking that's what we call a squat. So they've done three years at university, a year doing a master's, think they can squat, and we're like, you can't do that in front of our people because it was that bad. So there are no qualifications that will prepare you, so it takes a lot longer than you think. You need to be head down for, I would say, 5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years following another lifter. You need multiple coaches. You need to go to competitions, different disciplines. You need to spend some time working in an independent gym, spend some time working in a chain gym, spend some time in one of the fancier health clubs. You need to be around powerlifters, bodybuilders, fighters, crossfitters. You need to just take it in for years, compete yourself, and then you should pick it up. But it's not going to come from sort of 6-week qualification.